Hello and welcome to Budgeting and Planning with Steph. I'm Steph and I appreciate you clicking on my video and choosing to join me today. The topic of today's conversation is going to be CDs and CD ladders. How I use them and how you might want to use them is what I want to present to you. First, give you a little bit of a definition. When I say CD, that's an abbreviation for a certificate of deposit, which is a type of savings account that holds money for a predetermined amount of time. So for example, you deposit $1,000 into a CD and then you pick then there is a term. It's 6 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years, 4 years. It depends on what it is. The amounts and times vary. And then the interest rate varies. But the nice thing about them is that once you purchase, or not purchase isn't right, once you open a CD account, then that savings rate is locked. So when the interest rates are very high, you can lock in a high rate, even though, if a year passes and the rates have gone down, you'll still be earning that higher interest rate. And traditionally, folks use what's called a CD ladder, which is a strategy where you can invest a lump sum of money across multiple CDs with staggered maturity rates. So you might have $5,000 and you have one CD that matures in 1 year, then one at 2 years, one at 3 years, one at 4 years, and one at 5 years. And then you keep reinvesting. And so you always have CDs maturing. So you would always have access to a portion of your funds at intervals and still be able to keep that high interest rate. I know that's a lot of words, but I want to show you what I'm doing with my CDs and how some people choose to use CDs in the budgeting community. So this is what I call my CD ladder. I have accounts with 2 different banks. The majority of my funds are with Fidelity. And Fidelity allows you to purchase CDs with as a low amount as $100, which is, I believe, they call it a fractional CD, but you can invest with a minimum of $100. But I have 7 CDs with them, and they are all at $1,000. I have a $1,000 CD that matures in May. I have $1,000 CD that matures at a September date, and then I have $5,000 that matures in November. That's how I've laid it out in this chart by months. And the reason that I've done that is because what I would like to do with my CDs is spread them across all of the months, which is what some folks choose to do. They may have maybe they have $12,000 and they put $1,000 in every month. And that way that's $1,000 if it matures annually, that they would use it as a sort of an emergency fund, maybe like a job loss fund. If you lose your job, then you would always know that you had $1,000 that you could access every month. It works as a buffer, sort of an insurance policy. And I'm trying to set mine up that same way, but not as an emergency fund, but just because I think I really like the idea of having potentially access to my money monthly. I guess I also skipped over. I have a CD account with a financial institution called Bread Finance, and I really like Bread. I've had accounts with them before. They offer a really nice high interest rate, and I like the way the accounts mature. With Fidelity, when you have an account, you're actually purchasing CDs from a wide variety of banks that contract with Fidelity. So every CD is different depending on the bank, and they all kind of act very differently. And I'm not a CD expert by any means. And so when I look at one, I can't always predict how it's going to react. Like, for example, some of them, you get paid interest monthly. Some of them will pay you the interest at the end of the term, the year or whatever, how long you've agreed to keep your money with them. Some of them pay me interest quarterly. Some of them, it's just a wide variety. And with Bread, I know that the interest gets paid, and why these, like, say $1,000 CD, I may get $4.44 paid out to me in cash. It doesn't get rolled over into the CD at all. That balance stays $1,000. But with my Bread account, I have $1,500, And when the interest accrues, then they accrue it monthly, it gets added onto the balance, so that balance keeps growing. And I don't have the ability to spend it, which I like. So the other piece is that, say you're having some, I don't know, there's some catastrophe. So I have, $8,500 here. If I needed, there was some emergency and I needed access to that money, I could get it. The reason, but there is incentives not to. You will lose interest. There will be some sort of a penalty. You'll get your base investment back, but if you withdraw early, but you will lose interest, and it just depends on the institution what that penalty might be. So it's not locked forever if there's an emergency, but there is an incentive to keep it there. You don't lose the interest. So what I'm saving for, I'm saving this money to purchase a new car. I want to be able to pay cash. So, my time frame is I want to buy a new car in about 8 years. And so my goal is to save up about $40,000 more. And then in that last year when I'm ready to start, I just really like the idea of having it spread out with different maturity dates. I really like that strategy in case I do need to switch this over into like an emergency fund. If I needed to have income coming in monthly, I have that option. It's not all locked up, which is the reason why I'm not just all sticking it in 1 month. So what I'm doing now, so I have, like I said, I have $7,000 in Fidelity and I have $1,500 in BOUET. But my November 5,000, these are different maturity dates, different terms. But of this 5,000, 2,000 is maturing in November of this year. The other 3,000 is not ready. So I'm going to leave it in Fidelity, but I'm going to withdraw the $2,000 from Fidelity and move it over to BOUET and place it in my account in December. So I have a December CD building up. And with, like I think I said this before, with BOUET, you do have to have a minimum of 1,500. And I'm going to have 2,000, but what I think I'm going to do is take the 1,500 and do that minimum deposit. And then I have another 500 left over when I opened this one here that was 1,500. I also had $2,000 mature at Fidelity. So I have another 500. So that would give me a $1,000 that I could open up a CD in January. I would just need to come up with another $500. So right now my plan is to withdraw the 2,000 from November, plop 1,500 in December, and then another 1,500 in January. And that's my plan right now. I'm still working on putting together my financial plan for all of 2026. So I do hope to open, invest in another, at least one, maybe 2 other CDs to start fleshing out the rest of the calendar year in 2026. So just wanted to share that little bit of idea with you. There is, I was going to look up her name. I'll put it in my description. There is a YouTuber out there that does this regularly and uses it as an emergency fund, and she has great videos about it. I'm just drawing a blank on her name right now. I'll put her name in this description, and so you could watch her videos. They're fabulous on how she and her family builds their CD ladders. I also wanted to say, I do know that if for those of you that bank with Ally, they also offer CDs as low, I believe, as $100. I just chose not to go that route because their interest rate was a little bit lower than Fidelity or BOUET. So I was kind of chasing a high interest rate. But if you're on a lower budget, absolutely do something like that and start building your emergency fund or whatever fund that you need in terms of a CD ladder. The interest rate is, like I said, is a little bit higher than a traditional savings account, and it's sometimes it can be a little bit comparable to a high yield savings account. But the reason why it's a little bit better than a high yield savings account is that rate gets locked, and where those high yield savings accounts rates can fluctuate and vary. So you get to preserve that, a nice high rate. Okay, enough blabbering there. Before I close out my video, I do need to do my weekly or my daily contribution to the medical fund. And I am going to be adding $1 today, and I'm going to be stealing it from my gas fund. I've got plenty of money in here for gas for the rest of the month. So I'm going to take $1 and then I'm going to color in one more dollar on my chart. I believe that I am now at, that'll make me $7, but I want to check because I'm going to trade some of these ones out. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually 8. So I got $8. So I'm going to borrow one of these 5s from this envelope and take these 5s out of here. So I've got my $8 in my savings account for, this is the money that I'm setting aside for my future medical needs when I am a Medicare recipient, helping me to pay for Medicare Advantage plan premiums is my plan with this. So thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. I appreciate it. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and good luck with your saving. Bye-bye.